Okay, it's just gone 4 o'clock now, so I will kick off this webinar. And I'd like to start by welcoming everybody who has joined us for the importance of automating your test lab together with our partner Pluribus Networks. My name is Ciara McCarthy. I'm the Global Marketing Director for EPS Global. So this is our latest episode in our webinar series, It's Open Networking. And you can access our past webinars and sign up for future ones here on our Bright Talk channel. We have people on today from all across the US, Canada, Europe, Russia, Africa, the Middle East, Brazil, Mexico, Argentina, India, Malaysia, just to name but a few. You're all very welcome and thanks for joining us today. So just a bit of background about EPS for those of you who don't already know us. So we specialize in open networking solutions that help businesses take control over how they configure and scale their networks using bare metal hardware that's more cost effective to buy and more efficient to run. We have all of the hardware, the software, and the technical resources to help you deploy open and disaggregated and standards-based solutions that deliver the high-quality connectivity that your customers demand, all while delivering you cost savings. We have 28 global locations and we carry stock, so you can save yourself a bit of time and money, not to mention the hassle of dealing with multiple vendors and delivery timelines. We're also a member of the Open Compute Project and we're a solution provider on their marketplace. So I would just like to introduce you now to our speakers, and I'll just show everybody on video there. So first of all, from EPS, we have Barry McGinley there on the right, or hopefully on your right. He's our systems engineer for EMEA. He primarily works on proof of concepts for data center and service provider and enterprise deployments. And he leads the adoption of new bare metal hardware for carrier and telecom solutions available. He provides the first layer of tech support to our customers with an in-depth expertise of the open networking landscape, covering all of the open source software and hardware options. So Barry's based here in Dublin in Ireland, and he's the author of a popular tech blog that's on our website at epsglobal.com. He'd like me also to add that he's an avid Celtic supporter and enjoys a pint of Guinness. So there's Barry. So also joining us today is Krishna Kandavilli from Pluribus Networks. Thanks for joining us today, Krishna. So Krishna is the technical project manager at Pluribus. He's a seasoned product manager with experience in B2B, enterprise, SaaS and networking space. So in his role at Pluribus, he's responsible for oversight and product development from inception to completion, and has a proven track record of successfully leading market segments by building and launching new products. Prior to working with Pluribus, Krishna was a test engineer and network administrator with Juniper Networks. So thanks again for joining us, Krishna. And I will turn off our videos again till the end, and we'll get back to the presentation. So I would like to now hand over to Barry. My slides will start now in a moment, who will give you a bit of background on lab automation.
Thanks, Ciara. Getting closer to that point of Guinness you keep talking about, maybe a month or two away. But thanks everybody, as Ciara said, thanks for joining us, whether it's morning, afternoon or evening. We really appreciate your time. So yeah, I'm Barry McGinley. I'm a network engineer, primarily working in the open networking kind of disaggregated solution space. So I know Ciara touched on EPS and who we are, but I'll go into a little bit more. So we've been involved in open networking since 2013, so 8 years. And that came about when we became global distributors for EdgeCore networks. So for anyone who doesn't know EdgeCore, they are an OEM, ODM out of Taiwan, and they make bare metal switches. They actually make bare metal routers and transponders and all sorts of things now. But back then in 2013, it was bare metal switches. And basically they're switches that come with just a bootloader called ONI. So it's open networking install environment. And then what we do is we load a network operating system. So you'll see a bunch of them down there on the left. We load a NOS, as we call it, onto the bare metal switch. So there's a lot of NOS vendors out there. And what we try to do is take some of the hardship out of maybe selecting a NOS. So when they're looking at a NOS, does it have the right feature set? Is it actually being deployed anywhere? What's the support like? which hardware SKUs from, say, Edge Core Networks or Eufy Space, the hardware vendor, which actual SKUs does the software go onto? So we work with guys in this area, and we have all that information. We do other things as well. So we will install the network operating system onto the switch and the licensing. So the switches are basically ready to slide into a rack. It takes some of the hardship out of it. We do that for the software vendors as well. So we can do branding and then put their NOS and the licensing on and send them out to their customers. So as I said, it takes a little bit of the hardship out of disaggregation. So EPS and pluribus, we've a long history with pluribus. This is our, as Kira mentioned, our second webinar with them. The first webinar was on Adaptive Cloud Fabric, which I'll just touch on. So they're a very creative software vendor, as we'll see from the different solutions that they have. So first use case is the Adaptive Cloud Fabric. As I said, it's on the website. And basically this goes onto bare metal switches. We put NetVisor 1 as the operating system onto the box. And now we can create a fabric within a data center. So we can actually control all the switches from any switch within that fabric without the need for a controller and the added expense of controllers. And not just one data center, we can spread this over multiple data centers. So we can have multiple data center fabrics, and that brings in DCI, which is Data Center Interconnect. We have a network packet broker solution. We have a management platform with Unum, it's called, which will help control that Adaptive Cloud Fabric. And we have analytics as well. So Inside Analytics, it's called. It gives us a dashboard to monitor the performance. We have an IoT fabric, which is an extension of the Adaptive Cloud Fabric, but in this case, managing IoT devices like, say, video cameras or surveillance cameras around a city. And then finally, we have what we're going to look at today, which is lab automation. Okay, so challenges of traditional lab automation. So wiring, rewiring. That's one of the major time-consuming issues. Obviously, every time we change our network topology, we're going to rewire. There's underutilization of the lab resources. There's limited, or in most cases, no automation at all. And the slow testing slows down time to market for products and services, or for POCs for customers, or for debugging for other customers. Whatever the case may be, it slows everything down. And one of the big ones, it requires continuous physical lab access. So someone has to get into that lab to rewire for every different scenario, basically, which is not good for over the last year, I've been sending very little stuff to data centers. And the majority of, say, fans and PSUs and MSADAs and things like that are going to people's houses. So getting access to labs has been very difficult over the last year. So there's been none or very little testing going on. And the solution from Pluribus will show you how that one works. Okay, so who uses the solution? Engineering teams for testing updates and patches, for developing their new services. We have support teams, so debugging any issues customers might have with their software. Technical sales teams, so setting up proof of concepts, again, a lot for software companies, or looking at hardware, setting up POCs for customers to have a look at. It saves a lot of time and expense instead of sending them out hardware and software. And then we see at the top left there, we have support team, development team, integration team, sales team, test team, regression team. So, and you'll see by this solution that all these teams, there's usually a priority of who gets to use the lab automation, but we'll see how it kind of opens up, this solution opens up everything for all the teams. Okay, so traditional. So you see the bottom right there, the usual chassis-based solutions. So again, first thing is a scaling limitation. So adding new ports is an issue. There's no fabric or SDN at all. So we have static path setup and there's no load balancing, limited media types, and it's expensive, very, very expensive. I think we were tendering in the middle of last summer for an educational institution here in Ireland. I was looking for a 390 port layer 1 optical switch. And I have to say my jaw nearly hit the floor when I saw the price. So they are very, very expensive. There's no extension of L1 links across multiple labs. I think Krishna is going to touch on that. And again, complex cabling, high density, complex cabling. Every time we need to change our topology around. Okay, so Pluribus's solution here, very high level overview because Krishna will get into it much deeper. So wire once and rewire in software. So this is the mantra for this. We only wire it once and then we can change everything we want topology wise in software. So eliminates that manual error prone of changing the ports around. So it maximizes the utilization and sharing of expensive equipment. So when we looked at the teams who could use it, we can now share all these resources around these teams, not just prioritize one specific team. Enables extensive automation, which again we'll look at. Faster testing leads to faster time to market for our products and services, our POCs, and all the different services we take care of, debugging and all that kind of stuff. And we can remotely manage the lab. So this is perfect for the environment we live in now. So 24/7 access to whoever's able and allowed to access it. But that's a huge benefit now at the minute. And just to bring it a little bit back to open networking and disaggregation. If we have a look at the topology there, we've got two spines. It's, if anyone who knows data center, this is a spine leaf or a cloth topology as it's called. We have two spine switches. They look like 100 gig edge core switches down into 4 25 gig switches. So this creates our fabric. So we get all the benefits of disaggregation that's gone before for hyperscale data center guys and normal data center guys now. So just looking at scalability, if we're oversubscribed, we had a spine switch. If we need more port density, as in add more test beds or more tools, and we need a higher port count, we add a leaf switch or a top of rack switch as it's called. So yeah, scalability wise, very, very easy. Okay, I think that's it for me. I'm going to come back in. Guys, you can write in questions and we're going to cover them at the end, but now I'll hand over to Krishna to get in.